The war of the Titans had ended, but the universe was not yet finished with blood. The sky had been claimed, the seas divided, the underworld sealed, and Zeus now sat upon the throne of Olympus. But the earth remembered what had been done to her children. The mountains still smouldered with the scars of divine war. The seas had not forgotten the weight of gods falling into them, and beneath the crust of the world, something ancient stirred. The Gigantomachy had shattered the old order, but it had also awakened a deeper rage, older than Olympus itself. And from that rage, the giants rose. The giants were not gods, nor were they titans. They were born of vengeance. When the titans were cast into Tartarus, imprisoned behind gates of bronze, Gaia, the living earth, felt the wound of that loss as deeply as she had once felt the imprisonment of her first children. From the blood of Uranus, spilled long ago upon her soil, she shaped beings not meant to rule, but to destroy. The giants were vast beyond mortal comprehension, their bodies fused with stone, fire, and storm, their strength bound directly to the earth itself. As long as they touched the land, they could not die. They were not creatures of balance or law, but of raw annihilation, designed for a single purpose: the overthrow of Olympus. For a time, the Olympians were unaware. Zeus ruled with authority newly earned, establishing order where chaos had reigned. Hera governed beside him. Demeter restored fertility to the wounded earth. Poseidon calmed the seas, and Hades sealed the borders of death. To the gods, the universe seemed stable at last. But stability in Greek mythology is never permanent. It is merely the calm before the next reckoning. Gaia watched from beneath the surface of the world, silent and patient, waiting for the moment when the Olympians would believe themselves secure. That moment came when the giants emerged. Mountains split open, valleys collapsed. From the earth itself rose towering figures whose shadows stretched across continents. They hurled burning trees like spears, ripped islands from the sea, and stacked mountains atop one another in mockery of Olympus's height. The giants did not march, they surged, overwhelming the world through sheer mass and fury. Their leader, Porphyrion, burned with divine arrogance, while Alcyoneus, immortal so long as he stood upon his native soil, crushed gods beneath his feet. The Gigantomachy had begun, and unlike the Titanomachy, this was not a war of succession. It was a war of extinction. The Olympians met the giants with thunder and steel, but quickly learned a terrible truth. The giants could not be slain by divine hands alone. Each time a god struck one down, the earth itself restored them, pulling them back into form. Zeus hurled thunderbolts that split the sky. Athena struck with precision and strategy. Ares waded into battle with relentless fury, but the giants kept rising. Olympus trembled as the gods realized that power, even divine power, was insufficient against a force anchored to the world itself. It was then that prophecy revealed its final condition. The giants could only be defeated with the aid of a mortal. Thus entered Heracles, the greatest of mortal heroes, born of Zeus, yet bound to the limits of flesh and blood. Armed with a bow and poisoned arrows, Heracles became the fulcrum upon which divine victory would turn. Where the gods struck down giants, Heracles delivered the killing blow, severing their connection to the earth. Each giant fell only when god and mortal acted together, proving that Olympus could not rule alone, that even the gods required humanity to secure their dominion. The battles were apocalyptic. Athena crushed Enceladus beneath the weight of Sicily. Poseidon shattered islands and buried Polybotes beneath them. Apollo and Artemis rained death from afar, while Hephaestus unleashed molten metal upon the battlefield. Hera struck down giants who dared challenge her authority, and Dionysus drove others mad with divine frenzy. Zeus himself unleashed storms so vast they blotted out the sun, hurling thunder until the sky burned white with light. And still, the earth screamed as Gaia resisted, struggling against the destruction of her last defenders. When the final giant fell, the world fell silent. The Gigantomachy ended not with triumph, but with exhaustion. The land was scarred, the seas churned with debris, and the heavens themselves seemed dimmer, as though the universe had grown weary of divine violence. Gaia retreated into stillness, her vengeance spent, her rebellion ended. The giants were gone, their bodies buried beneath mountains, islands, and continents, becoming part of the world they had once sought to reclaim. And yet the Olympians stood victorious. This victory was different from all that came before it. The Titanomachy had given Zeus the throne. The Gigantomachy gave him legitimacy. It proved that the Olympian order was not merely powerful, but enduring, that it could survive not only rebellion from above, but wrath from below. The gods did not merely rule the cosmos now, they belonged to it. But Greek mythology never offers absolute peace. The Gigantomachy was the final war of cosmic rebellion, yet conflict would continue in smaller forms, in mortals, in monsters, in heroes doomed to tragedy. The age of overwhelming divine wars had ended, replaced by a world governed by fate, struggle, and consequence. The universe had been tested 3 times, by the Titans, by Cronus, and by the giants, and it endured. Olympus stood.